In 2018, the Manchester City Academy held a crucial meeting, one that would decide the future of several young players. And on the list of those set to be released was Cole Palmer. At the time, his teammates were growing bigger, stronger and faster, while his own performances had been in steady decline for 2 seasons straight. The decision was almost final, until Jason Wilcox, the academy director, stepped in. When asked what made Palmer different, what he saw that others didn't, Wilcox had just one thing to say. He is extremely clever. You guys can't even see the things he is seeing. This is the story of the player who has been dominating the Prem since he out of nowhere ended up in Chelsea, after being neglected by Guardiola, who many believe is the brightest football mind in the game. To really understand Palmer, let's begin with where he is coming from. So let's take a trip back to the 6th of May 2002, to a middle-class part of Manchester called Wythenshawe. Cole was raised in a close-knit family alongside his sister, Hallie, who turned out to become a fashion designer and a blogger. His father, Jermaine, worked as a dental engineer, while his mother, Marie, dedicated herself to assisting children as a dyslexia assessor. The Palmer household was filled with a strong work ethic and a deep-seated passion for football, or soccer if you will.
And for fuck's sake, stop saying soccer!
Jermaine, whose roots trace back to the Caribbean islands of St. Kitts and Nevis, played Sunday League football for nearly 2 decades with his local pub team, Black Boy FC, where he was the top scorer from centre-back one season, according to himself at least. Jermaine would bring Cole to watch him play every weekend. He was sitting on a bag of balls on the sidelines, absorbing the intense atmosphere of grassroots football. These early experiences ignited Cole's love for the game, fostering a dream that would soon take flight. Cole's father began nurturing his son's growing talent when he was just about to turn 5 years old. They would cross the street to the local park in Wythenshawe, where Jermaine would toss the ball for Cole to control repeatedly in a way that reminds us of the story of Berbatov. This routine set a foundation for Cole's dribbling skills and instilled a sense of discipline and determination. Jermaine encouraged Cole to play with his friends as much as possible, to foster a street footballer mentality, which he said is going to be good for his future creativity on the pitch. And boy was he right. But his love for the game extended beyond his father's expectations. His biggest idol was Wayne Rooney, another Manchester-born talent. He took inspiration from him and wanted to slide past defenders and bang in goals just as Rooney did. This admiration fueled Cole's ambition to pursue football professionally. Cole Palmer's journey to Manchester City's academy started when he was just 8 years old in 2010. But it wasn't a simple story of a boy joining his dream club. In fact, it was quite the opposite. Cole grew up as a Manchester United fan. Like most kids in Manchester, Palmer played football everywhere, in the streets, at school and in the park with his dad, and eventually joined his local hometown club called NJ Wythenshawe, where he was the smallest kid in the team. He noticed quickly that he was smaller than everyone else and talked to his dad early on about it. But his dad told him to focus on his skills and passing instead. And he was right, once again.
Just a reminder guys to hit that subscribe button if you're into football content. That way YouTube will suggest you more awesome videos just like this one.
Anyway, Cole's talent stood out early, and City's scouts took notice. Despite supporting United, when the opportunity to join one of the best academies in the country came along, there was no hesitation. Manchester United scouts were also interested in Palmer, just as many other clubs from abroad, including Borussia Dortmund. But once again, his dad took the decision to accept the invitation from Manchester City's academy, as it was the best one in England, and probably still is. At City, Palmer's ability was clear from the start, but as you know at this point, there were doubts. For the first 4 years at Manchester City's academy, Cole Palmer was flying. He was as tall, as strong, and as quick as the other kids, which meant he could fully showcase his technique, vision, and dribbling ability. Coaches saw him as a natural talent, someone who could glide past defenders, create chances, and dictate the play. But when he turned 12, things changed, and not in his favor. Palmer's biggest problem wasn't his skill, he still had plenty of that. It was his size. While many of his teammates started filling out, gaining strength, and becoming faster, Palmer wasn't following the same physical curve. Suddenly, the lad who used to effortlessly beat his opponents was struggling in duels, getting muscled off the ball, and finding it harder to impose himself on games. But there was another problem. Football itself was changing. This was around 2014, a period when football was moving away from flair-driven, free-flowing individualism and becoming more structured and tactical. Coaches weren't looking for flashy dribblers as much as they used to. Instead, there was a bigger emphasis on positional play, pressing structures, and team cohesion. You might remember that. Guardiola's Barcelona had dominated world football with passing and positional superiority, and the Premier League was becoming more physical and tactical than ever before. This led to academies starting to prioritize players who could fit into structured systems rather than just relying on natural ability. Palmer, at a critical stage of his development, didn't fit in. He was small, not particularly strong, and played with a style that was seen as risky at the time, taking players on instead of playing safe passes. And so, at 14, City seriously considered letting him go. It could have all ended there. But Jason Wilcox, Manchester City's academy director at the time, saw something that others didn't. Wilcox believed in footballing intelligence over physicality, and knew that Palmer's technical ability, movement, and game-reading skills would come good once he physically matured. He overruled the decision to let Palmer go. And he was right. Over the next few years, Palmer grew into his body, and suddenly everything clicked again. By 16, he was one of the standout players in City's under-18s. By 17, he was captain of the U18 team that won the 2019-20 league title. He scored 15 goals and provided multiple assists that season. I spent hours trying to find out the exact number, but it seems like there is no exact record of the assists in the U18s, but it was more than enough. And City offered him his first professional contract in 2019. By 18, he was training with Pep Guardiola's first team, and it seemed like his future was going to be in Manchester City after all. But here is where it gets interesting. Palmer was part of City's first team squad, but minutes were hard to come by. Guardiola had a squad packed with world-class talent, and while Palmer was seen as a future star, he was still just that, a future star. In the 2021-22 season, he made his Champions League debut and got 90 minutes in the EFL Cup, but these moments were rare. He was still waiting in the wings, getting the odd Carabao Cup start but mostly sitting on the bench and dominating in the under-23 Manchester City squad, which he was obviously too good for. He banged in hat-tricks for the youth team and was only getting a few minutes here and there for the senior team.
But he got his chances, and he took them.
In the Champions League away game against Club Brugge, he scored when he came off the bench, which led to a debut in the FA Cup against Swindon Town, where he scored and assisted in a 4-1 away win. And just when things started to look bright, he suffered a foot injury that kept him away for almost 100 days. He still got to technically celebrate his first Premier League title with the senior team and finished the season with 12 goals and 6 assists in 20 games. Which really isn't bad for a 20-year-old. With stats like that, next season surely had to be his breakthrough, and Guardiola had to give him more minutes on the pitch. Then, the 2022-23 season started with a bang. With Sterling and Jesus gone, Palmer was finally getting some minutes. Or was he? Unfortunately, that was not the case. Things just didn't click for Palmer, and he only managed to score 1 single goal in 25 games against Burnley in the FA Cup, and 1 assist against Chelsea in May. On average, he only played 25 minutes per game in the league, while Foden, who was another academy star, was making waves for the club. Given his talent and the fact that he played a small role for City, who again won the league, Palmer got called up for England at the UEFA Under-21 Championship, where Palmer really proved himself with a bang. He was one of the key players when England took home the trophy. Fun fact, Cole plays with 2 flags on his boots, England and St. Kitts, to tribute his family's journey, particularly his grandfather Sterry Cole, who emigrated from St. Kitts to England in 1960. The funny thing is that Palmer could have represented St. Kitts instead of England, but obviously he did not. Palmer was now expecting to get his real shot at becoming more than a rotational player for Manchester City, especially since Mahrez left the club and opened up a spot on the right wing for Palmer. And it was not looking too bad for Palmer after scoring a beauty against Arsenal in the Community Shield and a header in the UEFA Super Cup that took the game to penalties against Sevilla. Yet he was still not getting the game time that he deserved.
And then, Chelsea came knocking.
In a £42.5 million transfer, Palmer did something that not many young players would have dared. He left Manchester City, the club he had been at for 15 years, to bet on himself elsewhere. Chelsea wasn't an easy choice. The club was in transition, filled with new signings, changing managers, and uncertainty. But Palmer saw something in it, an opportunity to be the main man rather than the next big thing waiting for his turn. At Chelsea, Palmer didn't just settle in, he took over. Scoring his first goal in October against Burnley once again and adding an assist just minutes after. He became one of the club's most important players within months. He was given a key playmaking role, something he would never have had at City with De Bruyne and Foden in front of him. He started scoring and assisting regularly, proving that he wasn't just a talent. He was ready to lead a team with 22 goals and 11 assists in 34 games. It was a gamble, but it paid off. Palmer's move to Chelsea sparked a debate. Did City let go of a future superstar too soon? He had always had the ability, the vision, and the confidence. What he needed was a club that trusted him enough to put him at the heart of their team. Chelsea gave him that, and now he's proving exactly why Manchester City once saw him as the next big thing. Palmer was finally about to fulfill his dream of representing England in a big tournament, as it was time for the Euros, with England being one of the favourites for the title yet again. But things did not really go as expected for Cole as the Euros unfolded. Despite the massive hype, Cole's minutes on the pitch were surprisingly scarce. It was like having a secret weapon that never got the chance to fire off its best shots. Every time he stepped onto the field, fans held their breath, hoping to catch a glimpse of that dazzling spark, only to be left wanting more. I remember how frustrated I was about the gaffer not playing Palmer as he was my fantasy league captain. And as you can imagine, I did not do too well in my league. Anyway, even with limited playtime, Cole did not disappoint once he got the chance. He came on in the final against Spain and scored a goal to equalize only 3 minutes after being subbed on. The goal was the fastest substitute goal at the UEFA European Championships for England, but it could not save the Three Lions as Spain managed to hit the net in the 86th minute. Cole had many comments on the Euros. He spoke openly about being disappointed, frustrated. And even questioning himself for not getting more minutes, which I completely understand considering the season he just had with Chelsea. What would you have done in Southgate's shoes? Would you have given Palmer more minutes, or even started him? Let me know in the comments. Many young players would have kept on being frustrated by the situation and took off with the first plane to the closest party island. But you probably remember the video that went viral only 48 hours after the final. That's right, Palmer was in the gym to prepare for the upcoming season. What a winner mentality that is. Fast forward to 2024-25 and a new season with new opportunities is about to start. Cole even promises to score 4 goals in one game in a video that also went viral.
Huh? Yeah, let's do it. Slower. Maybe 1, 2, 3 and then 4 on the other one. Oh yeah, it gets tricky.
The start was not the best, as Chelsea lost 2-0 at home to Manchester City, and Cole was obviously already questioned. But yet again he bounced back, and as Chelsea visited Wolves, Cole scored 1 goal and assisted 3. But it wasn't until the home game against Brighton that he was going to fulfill his promise. Cole had a complete shocker of a game and managed to score 4 goals in just one half. The game finished 4-2, and by that he became the only player ever to score 4 goals in the first half. I think that accomplishment is the perfect way of wrapping up this video, and I already look forward to creating part 2 of Palmer's biography once the time is right. But until then, I want to ask you to push that like button if you enjoyed this video, and make sure to subscribe if you'd like to see more bios of iconic players.